My name is Alex, and I'm a Toyaholic. About 9 weeks ago, May the 4th, 2021, Star Wars Day, I didn't really have anything ready to share on social media, and I just grabbed an online image. It was this, the Collect All 92 card back image of all these vintage Star Wars figures. And I just made that my cover photo on Facebook. And it spawned some conversations. One guy, my friend Ryan Pominville, was talking about never being able to find the Luke Stormtrooper figure. Actually, this is the Luke Stormtrooper card, as a matter of fact. And my friend Pete Flessis in Wisconsin said that he had sold his Blue Snaggletooth and used the money to buy a bass guitar. And Blue Snaggletooth is not listed among these 92. It's one of the variants that was not in the Kenner count when they did things like this. So the two versions of the first Han Solo, the vinyl cape Jawa, things like that are not on here. When they would bring out the C-3PO with the removable limbs or the R2-D2 with sensor scope, they would retire the previous C-3PO, the previous R2-D2. I think pop-up lightsaber R2 retired sensor scope R2. So there's many more figures than what are listed in these 92. This does not include Yak Face. So lots of stuff for this count. My friend Michael Bradley wanted to know how many of these did I have, and I said, I have hundreds of vintage Star Wars figures. The count is more than the 92, but then I also have duplicates of them, as a matter of fact. So, but it wasn't until this photo spawned some of those conversations that I actually had an epiphany. And I thought, you know, I've seen a lot of neat YouTube channels talking about vintage Kenner Star Wars figures. My YouTube channel started out Star Wars content. That's why I'm called Lex the Robot. It was about Star Tours. So Rex, Captain Rex, Rex 2-4, DJ Rex, now he is. So Rex the Robot, Lex the Robot, that's me. Alex. But I haven't done as much Star Wars content as I have of Ghostbusters content, obviously. But as I had this epiphany, I thought, that's a really good, personal, unique anecdote about Star Wars vintage Kenner collecting that nobody else has. Maybe that's the hook. Maybe that's the way to do it, because the topics have been covered by so many people. I was looking for what's unique about it. So I've been giving this thought for about 2 months, and the more ideas I have, the more ideas follow. It's like, oh, I could talk about that. And then all these synapses in my brain have been firing for the past 9 weeks, and I'm like, wow, I need to find that item and tell a story about that. I need to find that item and tell a story. And so I've done some archaeology. I've dug some things out. I've been doing some prep of graphics and been thinking about the stories that I want to tell. So I could go linear, I could go chronological, or I could just hop all over the timeline and make it confusing. And I think that's what I'm going to do because it's a lot less work. But let's go with the story that actually inspired me to do this. Let's go with the Blue Snaggletooth story. So first question is, do I have a Blue Snaggletooth? Yes, I do. Here he is. I'll tell you how I got this and when I got this later. But the important thing is I did not get this figure the Christmas that it came out. Now, it was packed in with a Sears exclusive cardboard Cantina playset, sold through their wish book and everything. I didn't know about this item's existence. These would not have been carded when they came out. They were bagged in little Kenner baggies like this Walrus Man. You can tell why the previous owner never took this guy out of his Kenner baggie, because he is super cross-eyed with his paint application. But I keep this one around because it lets me remember, well, what weapon did Walrus Man come with? Aha, well, we know right there. He's still mint in the baggie. And I just saw it, bought it. I don't even remember what I paid for this one. And like I say, That cross-eyed expression cracks me up. So I didn't know about it, ergo I didn't have it. I bought them when they came out carded. And when they came out carded, Snaggletooth looked substantially different. You see, Snaggletooth, they decided, looked like this, not like this. So they resculpted him. And interestingly enough, they didn't use the original Blue Snaggletooth wax sculpt to make this guy. The original Blue Snaggletooth wax sculpt, come to find out, was used to make Bosk for The Empire Strikes Back. So what was he made from? I don't know. But they made him shorter. Boots on this guy, short legs, clawed feet on this guy. So this was my Snaggletooth. First introduction to the character. I remember what his card back looked like. I remember sitting in the telephone table at my grandmother's house. Nobody has a telephone table anymore, but she had this giant rotary dial phone that sat on a little arm, and then there was a little connected chair, and then you had a space for your phone book. I know, I'm saying terminology that you people watching this might not even know what I'm talking about, but there was a point in history when these were all commonplace things. And for some reason, I remember sitting at that telephone table and looking at the photo of the Snaggletooth mask, which actually was from the holiday special, not from the movie, and just being mesmerized by it. This was a time in history where you didn't have home video of a movie. You saw it in the theater, and that was it. You had to go off your memory. So things like the toy collection were sustaining your memory in 1978, 1979, where you were going, oh, okay, this guy must be from the movie. And that photo became its own gateway into a passion for the items. So why was it a good thing that I didn't have the Blue Snaggletooth yet? Well, one day, circa 1979, I came home from school, I walked in my bedroom, and my Snaggletooth, my Greedo, my Walrus Man, and my Hammerhead were gone. So you see, these four guys are not my originals. These are my replacements. A relative had visited my mom's house while I was at school with her two young sons. And though Mom, we talked about this story recently, she said she tried to keep them out of my bedroom, and then they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll stay in here in the den with y'all while you talk. And then they were like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. And both sons went to the hall bathroom. So when I came home and said, some of my stuff is missing from my bedroom, who got stuff out of my bedroom, it was pretty well, didn't take Sherlock Holmes, in other words, to know what had happened. And I'm reminded of something my dad said a little later in my life. I had taken a bag of candy to the parade. We were having our homecoming parade that day. And mine went missing. And my chorus teacher, Judy Gray, said, I think I saw so-and-so's family with your bag of candy in their vehicle. And I actually walked up to the vehicle and said, hey, has anybody seen a bag of candy with such and such in it? And the man just like bald-faced lied to me, nope, haven't seen that, as he's sucking on one of the pieces of candy, and here's my visible bag of candy in their truck, you know. And I told my dad about it, and he said, if they can live with it, you can live without it. I don't know that I've ever taken well to that lesson, but in this particular case, it's probably a good thing I didn't pursue it, because when I was in college, I still remember Rena Kilgore, now Dr. Rena Greer, saying, hey, did you hear that so-and-so died? It was that classmate whose father had lied to me about stealing the candy. I said, no, what happened? And he said, oh yeah, her father murdered her. And then Rena said something that just chilled my blood. She was like, she was the first of us to die. I'm like, why do you even talk like that? But yeah, so if they can live with it, you can live without it, because you don't want to pursue things when somebody's capable of infanticide. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to talking about toys. My parents did, I think, confront the relative that had visited about the missing toys. I don't know that reparations were made or that she accused her kids or what happened, but what I do remember from my point of view in the story is being driven all over town looking for these 4 figures as replacements. And we found them later that night in an unexpected store. The common stores didn't have these, but we did find them, and they probably were a little more expensive. Here I am in Sheffield, Alabama at Town Plaza, which kind of shows you just how far off the beaten path my parents had to go to find replacement figures. We didn't find them at Shoals Variety and Gift. We didn't find them at Circus World in the mall. We had to come all the way here and find them at one of the stores in this complex. Now, I'm not entirely sure. This was 42 years ago, but I want to say it was in that vicinity right there. This over here used to be Sears though, so that's a contender too. But somewhere in this general area in 1979, maybe 1980, I had to go buy replacements for 4 action figures. Welcome home, old boys. But we bought them and we replaced them because they were the carded versions, you see. Now, if this guy had been stolen off of my dresser while I was at school, I'd have been SOL to replace him quickly. And I'm not talking about the Satellite of Love. This guy would have been years before I saw another one or had an opportunity to get another one because he wasn't available carded. He was only available that Christmas that way from that one store. So that's the epiphany I had when I was talking to Pete back in May. That, wow, it never occurred to me. It was a good thing that I didn't know about this guy when he came out. So I'm glad I got him secondhand. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here telling you a story about the time my blue snaggletooth was stolen from me. That would be much worse than saying, oh yeah, a red snaggletooth was stolen and I replaced it the same day. You know. So how did I get a blue snaggletooth?